Hello, puppies and kittens. Welcome to another episode of Blasphemers Bible. And today we're going to get ecclesiastical.
We are, yeah. And this is one of my favorite books of the Bible. And the reason for that is because it's so nihilistic. Like it's incredibly it's so good. It's so good. In fact, it's not going to be in I think any of the translations we're reading today, but verse 2, I want to pull it up specifically in what is it? The New Living Translation. Um, so this about 10 or so years ago, there was a fire at my place, and no matter how many times they tried to blame the hookahs, it was not the hookah. It was a dehumidifier that first dried out, or it made like the rest of the year dry, and then it just lit on fire. It just exploded. Um, Apparently, there was a recall on those shortly after that.
Well, it really did its job then, did it?
Right? Yeah, yeah. It really did perhaps too well. Um, so the while we were staying at a hotel, we my mom was talking with someone, uh like just one of the other people there, and they were like she had mentioned so this person she was talking to, she had mentioned that how much of a Christian she is, and she tried to like convert my mom, weirdly enough. But and yes, I do have an echo. I suggest Aaron probably mute himself. So the what she gave my mom a Bible, and it was the New Living Translation. And what's really funny is she wrote a note on it that says "Start in John," and I'm like, so you're gonna skip not only the entire Old Testament but also the first three Gospels. Hilarious. Then, while that was one of the translations I was using initially for the show on the Ask Show, Atheist Sunday School, and it had my favorite translation of this verse. It's probably not this is not how someone should translate this, but it is the best translation. And I loved it so much that I made a shirt out of it. Everything is meaningless, says the teacher. Completely meaningless. So get your "Everything is Meaningless, Completely Meaningless" t-shirts at the Milwaukee Atheist Teespring. And it's still that one because I don't know if I can rename it, but it is the same one. And I absolutely love this verse. That is my little intro for that. I do have more to say about Ecclesiastes, but I have been talking for quite a bit. So if anyone else wants to add something to that before I at least give a little bit of a rundown on Ecclesiastes, I guess feel free to.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is that the book is called Ecclesiastes in English. In Hebrew, it's called Kohelet, which is the name of the character who's supposed to be speaking the book, like
Which
the
is
first
also
verse.
grammatically feminine. So some have hypothesized that this is written by a woman.
That's interesting. Well, it does say "son of David."
Yeah, I know,
It
but
says
that's still
Kohelet.
like
Is Sophia not
have
feminine
hypothesized.
though? The Sophia, the
Yes.
wisdom
Yeah.
Sophia is feminine.
is a woman.
Yeah, I'm saying, but so this book, it starts with the words of Koheleth, son of David, king in Jerusalem.
Right.
I think some people just
I'll address the David and the
Yeah,
Solomon connection. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Some say it's Solomon, even though it says Kohelet. Like it's like a what's the word? Like a pen name. Because it's not really a real name. It's like it means something or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, there was absolutely people still believe this today that Solomon wrote it, but that's again with his association with wisdom and wisdom literature. So if you wanted to make something seem legit, a lot of the times you would just say, "Oh, it was written by Solomon." If you were writing a wisdom text, if you were writing something about prophets, you would make references to the quintessential prophets of the time. So you would talk about Isaiah and Ezekiel, Jeremiah especially. So if you wanted to kind of build yourself up or your work up, your philosophy up then you would just say, "Oh, it's written by this other guy." Definitely not me.
Yeah.
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Right, it was a point of pride and humility. It was considered gauche to say, according to my proverb, because I'm smart enough to be giving out proverbs. And I've brought this up many times before. It's a very common thing throughout all of Asia to attribute particularly wisdom sayings to a famous character, or at the very least to like your grandfather or someone else who you are paying respect to, as opposed to blowing your own horn.
Yeah, this happened basically everywhere at this time period. There are texts from Greece that like we know were not written by like Plato or Aristotle, but because they were part of the school of Plato or Aristotle, like whoever it may be, they would write as if like their thoughts were just an expansion of the thoughts of their teachers. So they would often do it that way. Right before for Ecclesiastes, for Kohelet, few things we should probably talk about first. There is not much of a way to date this text because it lacks historical. What's the word I'm looking for? There are no hints. There are no historical clues as to when this would have been written. There are very, very few things, and because of that, people have a wide range of dates that it could be a part of. Like if you take the words of the teacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem, sort of thing, you think, oh, Solomon. It must have been written back in Solomon's time, but then you kind of realize that a lot of these words didn't even really exist in Solomon's time, and it wasn't exactly like I can read a couple selections here from some commentaries, but yeah, it's absolutely not written back then. Let me pull up what the commentators here say on it. Right. The language and grammar of this book exhibits obvious differences from the Hebrew of Solomon's time and mark this literature as belonging to at least 5 centuries later. Its earliest plausible date is the 450s BCE, based on its use of specific vocabulary. Its latest date would be in the 150s BCE, based on the existence of Ecclesiastes fragments among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Additionally, the lack of reference to Antiochus IV Epiphanes, persecutions of the Jews in the 160s BCE suggest that Ecclesiastes was likely written before that time. So it's somewhere in that range, right? There's quite a ways away from Solomon himself.
Oh, definitely.
So you say
it's
probably here
hard.
or maybe there, but why don't you tell us what you believe?
I believe, I believe that it's hard to tell, and I have no strong opinions on the exact date. Let's see here. Yeah,
Well, that is how all the best scholars operate. They just they go by what they feel in their heart.
See, that's accurate.
What does
We
the
just go by feel.
spirit tell them? Maybe they could take some peyote, go up on a hill, ask the local flora and fauna to give them a little insight.
Yeah, like on this authorship, they note that like while a lot of people from antiquity even thought this was from Solomon, John Jarek notes that the words of the teacher are expressed in a kind of Hebrew that did not yet exist at the time of Solomon, but rather in a form of the language which looks decidedly post-exilic, which makes Solomonic authorship impossible. Those are the main plot points of the book. Solomon definitely
So
didn't
I
write
understand why, since it's not about history, it's very hard to tell when it was written. There's not a lot of clues. There's nothing but linguistic textual clues at best, because it's really more philosophical. It's not even about anything that historically happened. So the not mentioning of a historical event is not really damning. So the only thing we can tell about when it was written is that there is no chance in 10 hells that it was written by Solomon or in his time.
Right, yeah, that's for sure.
So the only thing we know is that the evangelicals are wrong.
As is tradition.
Tradition.
Tradition. Okay, so Are we going to
Yeah.
read this?
Yeah, we can go ahead. Jump right into it, Aaron.
Thank you so much. I don't want to read the first one today.
I'll do it. I got it. Let's
Okay.
fucking go. W. Aaron for letting me do this.
Yes.
The words of the teacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Now, I'm using the NRSVUE, but
I'm
please
gonna mute
remember,
just in case I'm contributing to the echo.
please remember that everything is meaningless. Completely meaningless is how I choose to understand this verse. Vanity of vanities, says the teacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Why do people gain from all the what do people gain from all the toil which they toil under the sun? A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down and hurries to the place where it rises. The wind blows to the south and goes around to the north. Round and round goes the wind, and on its circuits the wind returns. All streams run to the sea, but the sea is not full. To the place where the streams flow, there they continue to flow. All things are wearisome, more than one can express. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, or the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. There is nothing new under the sun. Which also on the Milwaukee Atheists Teespring, which I know Peter linked to in the chat earlier, there's also there's a nothing new under the sun t-shirt there as well. So a lot of good stuff to be pulled from this one. So nihilistic already. I love it, but we'll talk about it more. Is there a new thing of which it is said, see, this is new? It has already been in the ages before us. The people of long ago are not remembered, nor will there be any remembrance of the people yet to come by those who come after them. I, the teacher, was king over Jerusalem, over Israel in Jerusalem. I applied my mind to seek it, to search out by wisdom all that is done under heaven. It is an unhappy business that God has given to humans to be busy with. I saw all the deeds that are done under the sun, and see, all is vanity and a chasing after wind. What is crooked cannot be made straight, and what is lacking cannot be counted. I said to myself, I have acquired great wisdom, surpassing all who were over Jerusalem before me, and my mind has had a great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And I applied my mind to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this also is but a chasing after wind, for in much wisdom is much vexation, and those who increase knowledge increase sorrow. Now, first of all, I think you can tell why I love this book, because this one is incredibly nihilistic. It's all like everything just happens again. Nothing's new. It's just the same shit, different day mentality. And this guy took it quite literally. And like nothing he actually does or changes will eventually matter, because all things just stay the same. And that kind of, let's see, the things I agree with that philosophy basically entirely. Nothing that matters. We're all gonna die. Someone will say your name for the last time. But it is interesting that we are seeing this kind of text in the Bible. Like these were not observations that were like impossible to make, because people were obviously making them. But this guy has thought about it so much that he's like, listen, I'm just at the end, like everything just seems to go around again. He's thinking himself in circles. And I mean, like I said, again, it's definitely not Solomon, but it is someone later who's all like, man, like it could be literally anything in history where you have either like some sort of persecution, or like some new laws or something, or some new social codes or whatever it may be. But the thing is, like, they can look back at their own past and be like, this has all happened before, just in slightly different ways. Like, it's just all the same shit.
Guys,
And I love this book.
Guys, Aaron, you are very clearly your setup is producing a very, very, very large echo.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry to say. That's okay. It's not you. Well, it is you, but it's your setup. It wasn't intentional. I just didn't want the whole recording to go on with that.
Right, yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Because like while I was talking, I didn't hear it. I mean, the thing is, like, I personally don't even have that much to add on this because I think Colette does a great job of explaining himself. So like, it's like nothing will ever be enough because things will always be the same. Like, there's no point in any of this, and I totally agree with that. Now, for them, that's a setup to the rest of the book because they kind of see this reality, this for lack of a better term, nihilistic reality, and they also have to somehow put it in their already existing philosophy of like God's plan. So they do tie it in throughout the rest of the book, but I think that's a great introduction, totally into it. I actually went, a couple months ago, I was seeing a doctor, and I was wearing this shirt, and he saw it and he thought that like he didn't get like the B reference, the fact that it's our mascot, but he asked like if that's something about if that was supposed to be like a weird nihilistic statement about bees and how hard they work, which honestly that could have fit in here too, but I was like, oh no, that's my favorite verse in the Bible. And he's like, that's in the Bible? I'm like, yeah, that is in the Bible. But okay, I'm gonna stop talking for now. You guys feel free to add everything you want to add to this.
Okay,
And
well,
make
I had a
sure-
comment that I enjoy Ecclesiastes a lot as well. However, it still isn't necessarily true. Or maybe it's a matter of interpretation. Verse 11, the people of long ago are not remembered, nor will there be any remembrance of people yet to come by those who come after them.
Yeah, like there are certainly people who are remembered, but like I think this is I'm sure you guys have heard this before, where it's like everyone has like multiple deaths, right? The first one is when you like when your body dies, uh, and when you are actually dead. But then there's like your memory dies too. So like there will be a time in the future where your name is said for the last time. So and with that goes your memory, or the memory of you. So the so I think that Colette might be pointing towards that same kind of truth because he can think about the people that existed in the past and know that I don't know all their names. No one knows all their names. People have been forgotten.
But someone built this, and someone grew the grain that made the bread, that built
There you go.
that the people ate, that built this and made the wine and carried the like there's a remnant left of all their actions on the earth and on history, but there also isn't that direct memory of them that we have of our loved ones. And I don't think it's so much nihilistic. That perspective is a necessary thing for philosophers to struggle with. But that's what I like about this book. It is philosophy. It is facing the difficult realities of being human, of not having nearly as big of influence of, a sphere of control as you have of knowledge, of recognizing that nothing you do will make you actually be remembered forever. There's a beautiful poem by Mary Shelley, Ozymandias. It talks about a statue in the desert, or the remnants of a statue come across in the desert, a great platform, and it says, behold, Ozymandias, king of kings, look on my works, ye mighty in despair. And there's like the remnant of a hand from the statue is laying in the sand and nothing else remains. So that's something that people and kings and philosophers have fought with forever. And here we are looking at it again. And I really appreciate that the maturity of actually facing that struggle instead of just wiping it away in easy, quick simplified versions of theology isn't what this is doing. So
Okay, so maybe I don't have a critique in here because I was thinking about that there will be no remembrance of the people who came before, and now we know of all these people who came before, Neanderthals and Denisovans and Homo naledi and all of that. But at the same time, we don't have, this is the species Australopithecus, and this one was named Lucy. Boy, was she a twit, running her mouth all the time. No, nobody remembers that. They don't remember her.
Yeah, so it's very generalized, but the thing is, I totally get it. I'm all for this kind of philosophy. Now, the difference between someone like Kohelet and like Nietzsche, for example, they recognize this vanity. This like it's total, like everything you do is totally futile. It doesn't matter. They try to find ways to get out of it. So the problem has always, with nihilism specifically, has always been trying to fix for it, trying to find a solution to it. Now, the difference between that kind of nihilism, both from Nietzsche and from Kohelet, is that they do, and the difference between that kind where you try to find the solution, I always say, don't find the solution. Embrace the darkness. Embrace that nothing matters. Like, you don't have to find a solution to it.
be Batman.
Got a comment to read. Zipping Lake said, "When I told my mother that I no longer believed in Christianity, I felt liberated and elated. Thank you, Aron-Ra, sir, for helping me see the light, so to speak. LOL." Thank you very much for sharing that, Zipping Lake. All right. And are we moving on to the next chapter?
I mean, unless someone has something to add on this.
Now,
Yeah,
wisdom is meaningless, everything is meaningless, but now pleasures are meaningless. Who wants to take that chapter?
and I do have a couple of comments on this chapter, the first chapter. The one that is interesting is it talks about the water cycle, right? All streams flow into the sea. The sea is never full. To the place in which they flow, the streams flow back again. So they didn't really understand the water cycle back then. So we read this first and we're like, oh yeah, it's talking about the water goes into the sea and it somehow makes it back to the springs. But that sounds like our modern understanding of the water cycle. But if you go and look at like how like traditional classical Jewish interpreters understood this verse, it's quite funny. So Rashi, for example, which is from like, I always forget this, is it the 8th century or the 9th century, or is it later than that? Whatever. He's like, okay, all the
Maybe
rivers
the
flow
old-
into the sea, yet the sea is not full, because they do not remain therein. For the ocean is higher than the entire world. As it is stated, he summons the water of the sea and pours them, etc. Now, from where does a person pour? From above to downward. And the rivers flow in the tunnels under the mountains from the ocean and flow repeatedly. And this is the meaning of to the place where the rivers flow, there they continue to flow. Also, the wicked man, wherever he came from, so he will go. It's just very confusing, but his understanding was more like the rivers go into the sea, and then there are tunnels underneath that takes the waters from the sea back to the spring heads. But the ocean is above the world. I don't understand that.
How does the ocean is obviously not above the world? Has he not witnessed all the streams running downhill into the ocean?
But remember, they also did believe that there was a heavenly ocean. So
yeah, but how does this ocean feed into that ocean?
Yeah. So
Magic Sky Ocean, fine, but
I mean, I go over this in my biblical cosmology video, but yeah, they do believe that like the ones on the earth are basically gated off, but like there were, especially in later texts, they still viewed everything as flat, right? But there would be essentially doors that would let the waters in so it doesn't overflow. Because I mean, in the ancient world, you can still find a lot of these places today, actually, but there are plenty of water cut rocks that make those pretty small tunnels that like we have a hard time even exploring today. So we know the water is going somewhere, but in a lot of cases we like never know where it's going exactly. So it probably stemmed from that kind of idea. They see like a little spring that goes into, it just looks like it's going into a rock, basically. It's this little cave. And it's like, but the cave is pretty small. It's finite, but where it's not full. So yeah.
I mean, I don't think Rashi would. I don't think Rashi believed in a flat Earth. So I don't know exactly what cosmological model he was thinking of, like the ocean is higher than the entire world. Like how he viewed the system, but yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, I might need to look into that one a bit, but yeah, that's interesting. And was there another one? Yeah, obviously verse 12 says that Kohelet was king in Jerusalem of Israel, which implies that this is, Solomon specifically, rather than just another son of David, let's say, if you wanted to argue that. Yeah.
Another son of David. I am Solomon, King Solomon. I'm Jeff.
I mean, there are named sons, right? In Kings and stuff. Yeah.
Wasn't one of them named Nathaniel, which was the same as the prophet who came to him after the whole rape of Bathsheba and murder of her husband?
I remember the prophet being Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan.
Oh, Nathan as opposed to Nathaniel.
One of those. I don't know. I'd have to look. I mean, yeah.
Amnon,
Absalom,
and Adoniah, Shaphatia, Ithream, Daniel, or Kileev. Yeah.
So I don't want to read chapter 2 either.
Are you suggesting I also read chapter 2?
Well, no, unless you really want to.
No, I believe he's suggesting I read chapter 2.
Gotcha.
It is suggestive, yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Well, that is appropriate. All right. I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Aaron, that means as much as I love you, please mute your mic. Thank you. All right. Pleasures are meaningless. Ecclesiastes 2. I thought in my heart, come now, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good. But that also proved to be meaningless. Laughter, I said, is foolish. And what does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly, my mind still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was worthwhile for men to do under heaven during the days of their lives. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs to water the groves of flourishing trees. I bought male and female slaves and had other slaves who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I amassed silver and gold for myself and the treasure of kings and provinces. I acquired men and women, singers, and a harem as well, the delights of the heart of man. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all this, my wisdom stayed with me. I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my work, and this was the reward for all my labor. Yet, when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun, and that same fate. Nothing was gained under the sun. Wisdom and folly are meaningless. Then I turned my thoughts to consider wisdom, and also madness and folly. What more can the king's successor do than what has already been done? I saw that wisdom is better than folly, just as light is better than darkness. The wise man has eyes in his head, while the fool walks in darkness. But I came to realize that the same fate overtakes them both. Then I thought in my heart, the fate of the fool will overtake me also. What then do I gain by being wise? I said in my heart, this too is meaningless. For the wise man, like the fool, will not be long remembered. In days to come, both will be forgotten. Like the fool, the wise man too must die. And so I hated life, because the work that is done under the sun was grievous to me. All of it is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. I hated all the things I had toiled for under the sun, because I must leave them to the one who comes after me. And who knows whether he will be a wise man or a fool? Yet he will have control over all the work into which I have poured my effort and skill under the sun, and this too is meaningless. So my heart began to despair over my toilsome labor under the sun. For a man may do his work with wisdom, knowledge, and skill, and then he must leave all he owns to someone who has not worked for it. This too is meaningless, and a great misfortune. What does a man get for all the toil and anxious striving with which he labors under the sun? All his days, his work is pain and grief. Even at night, his mind does not rest. This too is meaningless. A man can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in his work. This too I see is from the hand of God. For without him, who can eat or find enjoyment? To the man who pleases him, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering and storing up wealth to hand over to the one who pleases God. And this too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind.
Yeah. So no matter how hard you work, you're going to have the same end as anybody else. Like what do all these riches do? What does all this self-indulgence accomplish? A whole shitload of nothing. And you could like, give it off to the next generation, but they're going to suffer the same fate. Where where's the end of the line for this? And again, philosophy I totally agree with. It doesn't fucking matter.
Wealth tax.
What?
Wealth tax.
Yeah, wealth tax. Yeah, there you go. It doesn't matter what you do, because it's all going to lead to the same place anyways. There's no amount of happiness that can be gained in this life that that will nullify the end for everyone, because you're still going to die. So fuck it, I guess.
I feel like this is a really depressing part of growing up. Like, we all face it. We all have to face the, oh, fuck. This is real, and I'm actually going to die, and there's no quick save point. But, which may be a slightly modern way of wording it, but the problem remains.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I've learned to take comfort in the everything is meaningless, more in a sense of, yeah, I'm not responsible for the entire fucking world and how it turns out, because that's way too much work and worry and concern, and I just don't have the energy. I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, it's but I think you guys can certainly see why I am so happy reading this, because it stands against, basically all the, now of course, like, once we get through this, we'll see their own solution is of course God based, but the observations I very much agree with. Like those, like, yeah, like there's nothing you can do to go away from that inevitable doom.
Yeah.
Anyone
Do you
have
want some
anything
more?
to add?
All of this reminds me of Buzz Lightyear You know, years of academy training wasted. It's all gone. It's all gone. You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit.
Yeah, that I forgot about that part of the movie. Yeah. No, although the thing, I mean, the funny thing about someone like, uh, wait, you know what? No, I forgot the thing. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah. I have some more funny medieval geography here. So
Okay.
verse 5, I laid out gardens and groves in which I planted every kind of fruit tree. Rashi, for Shlomo, Solomon, with his wisdom, recognized the veins of the earth, which vein goes to Cush, and there he planted peppers, which normally does not grow in the land of Israel. Which one goes to a land of Caribs, and there he planted carob trees. For all the veins of the lands come to Zion, from where the world was founded, as it is stated, out of Zion the perfect beauty. Let me just see where that is. That's in Psalms 52. Therefore, it is stated every kind of fruit tree. This is found in Midrash Tanchuma.
Yeah, you want to know where Zion is?
Yeah.
I remember it's near the planet's core where it's still warm.
Apparently,
Oh God, remember the days when the red pill was actually a code for insight and not for insecure man babies screaming about how it's everyone else's fault that they're lonely?
Okay. Apparently, it says somewhere in it is forbidden to plant gardens and orchards in Jerusalem. And so they had to like figure out like how does it make sense that Solomon planted these stuff, and so they were like, well, the boundary is the walls of the banks of the river, the Shiloah pool or whatever. It's like, so they had to
Well,
like
isn't
figure
it?
out like how it makes sense.
It doesn't matter what the law is because he's Solomon, because he has Article 2 that allows him to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Well, if you want power in ancient society, it's important to have the biggest, shiniest hat.
Yeah.
That is the
I mean,
most important attribute.
this idea that the earth has veins, which if you plant the vein that goes to a land that has like exotic trees, you can plant those trees along the vein in another completely different like environment, and it will work because of this like ley line that connects these two areas. I think that's such an interesting idea that I've never seen before. Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are we? Because this is the one I want to read, and I think it's
Okay.
curious that Lawrence's favorite quote out of the Bible is in Ecclesiastes, and so is my favorite quote in the Bible, and it's
My
here in
dad loved this quote and this
and it
song.
is in chapter 3. May I? Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to throw away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to sow, a time to keep silent, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. That's not my favorite quote. It's still upcoming. Here labeled as the God given task, verse 9: What gain have the workers from their toil? I have seen the business that God has given to everyone to be busy with. He has made everything suitable for its time. Moreover, he has put a sense of past and future into their minds, yet they cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. I know that there is nothing better for them than to be happy and enjoy themselves as long as they live. Moreover, it is God's gift that we should all eat and drink and take pleasure in their toil. I know that whatever God does endures forever. Nothing can be added to it, nor anything taken away from it. God has done this so that we should all stand in awe before him. That which is already has been, that which is to be already is, and God seeks out what has gone by. Moreover, I saw that under the sun, in the place of justice, wickedness was there, and in the place of righteousness, wickedness was there as well. I said to myself, God will judge the righteous and the wicked, for he has appointed a time for every matter and for every work. And from here on is my favorite bit out of the entire Bible. I said to myself with regard to humans that God is testing them to show that they are but animals. For the fate of humans and the fate of animals is the same. As one dies, so dies the other. They all have the same breath, and humans have no advantage over the other animals, for all is vanity. All go to one place, all are from the dust, and all turn to dust again. Who knows whether the human spirit goes upward and the spirit of animals goes downward into the earth? So I saw that there is nothing better than that all should enjoy their work, for that is their lot. Who can bring them to see what may be after them?
Yeah. So very much we're dealing with the same kind of philosophy where there, because like he sets this up as like, listen, everything is going on in this cycle. Basically, sun goes down, sun comes up, the river pours into the sea, but then comes back again, uh, and everything having like a certain time and place. So they're putting that into the context of God's plan. So the best you can do is really be along for the ride, and they don't say it explicitly here, but very Kantian, doing your duty sort of thing. Like you have, like every animal, every human, every part of nature is playing its own role, and those roles have been dictated by God. Uh, so that's essentially where we're at with the philosophy so far.
It's
I mean, if
important to
we,
note. It's important to note that what this passage is saying. One, we are animals. So everybody says, "I'm not an animal. I'm a human being." Well, sorry, the Australian kingfisher can say, "I'm not a bird. I'm a kingfisher," but you're still, or like in oh, what was that movie where he says it's not a motorcycle, baby, it's a chopper. Sorry, it's a chopper. Is still a motorcycle. So we
I mean,
are
I know some
animals.
Harley enthusiasts that would argue that with you, but
Speaking of which, I have these weird tan lines because my wife made me ride her Harley all the way to Fort Worth so that she can pick up a custom
aw,
seat. The things you do for love. Yeah, not the worst thing that I could be forced to do on a summer afternoon.
poor
But
baby.
anyway, yeah. So we all go to the same place and all of that, but then the next line, this is the Bible speaking, right? So every word of it is exactly God breathed, right? And yet it says, who knows whether the human spirit goes upward and the spirit of the animals goes down?
Well, I mean, the answer to that would be God. But the thing, they do these kind of rhetorical questions all the time, right? But the like, as far as you have no idea, and you kind of do have to go along for the ride because you are so unsure about the future, even really the past as well. So you kind of have to enjoy what you have now here, but at the same time, this is very deterministic too. in the sense of it's not just the it's not just nature, it's not just the movement of the stars or the movement of the waters that's preordained by God, but also your own lives. That's why it says in verses 2 through 8 that there's a time to kill, time to heal, time to break down and build up. So these are laughing, mourning, dancing, uh, losing, keeping things. These are we kind of get into the description of a human life, a human lifetime, I should say. So even that is put in the framework of God's the only one who can control that or knows what's going to happen.
Yes, but this is God speaking when he says who knows.
Well, this is the teacher speaking.
If you're a biblical literalist, if you think all of this shit was God breathed, then here's
and the
God
only
saying,
thing we know is that they are always wrong.
But then there's this other important thing. So this is important because it's not just that we are animals. That's not just the only message that I want to impart on people. It's one of the biggest arguments that I have with creationist religious extremists and with just religious people in general is they all have this fascination that I never understood. They want life to have a purpose, which to me is when they say what is the meaning of life, I'm like that's a stupid question. There's no meaning for life. It's just it's idiotic to think there is one. And when the ultimate message in this is to you get past that you want to be you want there to be a purpose. What the purpose is, you're a pawn. You're meant to die for not even you're just going to be expendable. That's your purpose. Sorry, fucking deal with it. And in the interim between now and then, maybe figure out how to enjoy what you got, appreciate what you have, which I'm all about that, right? And again, going back to Buzz Lightyear, he eventually figured that out. Did he figured out how to take what the lot that he had and appreciate it and learn to live from there.
I did remember what I was going to say about Buzz Lightyear. The plot hole in that movie is crazy, right? Because if he thought he was real the whole time and not just a toy, why would he stop when humans walk into a room? Like that's probably the biggest plot hole in Toy Story. But
It seems to be canon that is kind of an instinctive thing that toys do unconsciously. Like it's a reflex that they have very little control over. They would have to focus and concentrate on overcoming. But that aside, cartoon toys and whatnot. Okay, there's a couple things here. It reminds me so much. I was traveling with my friend. I was in the car for 10 hours with a 4-year-old in her Y stage. Why? Eventually, it got to the point where she said, why? I said, because God is dead and all life is futility. And this kid just goes, why? She doesn't get it. She's fucking 4. Right. She doesn't know what God is. She sure as hell doesn't know what futility means. But there is a thing in Western philosophy that there's an absence of something that Eastern philosophy has. We want there to be a purpose. In ancient Chinese thought, for example, to have no purpose is actually the highest thing. That which exists because it can. It's just there. It's just there to be there. Its attributes are perhaps in response to what's going on, but it's just there to be there. And that's what nature is. And that's what, to a degree, we are. And we've always wrestled as humans with the line between, how much of our lives is a skein rolled by the fates, is already woven, is already decided by all the things around us, and how much do we have control over? And that balance is hard to strike and hard to come to terms with the realities of. But you don't need a reason to exist more than 'cause I fucking can. That's it. Also, the Beatles song was, yeah, my dad loved that. I miss him.
So I just have a note here for verse 5. So a time to throw away stones, and a time to gather stones, time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. Uh, so Jack Jark notes that, I think it's Jack Jark, right? Yes, John Jark. Only verse 5 remains as something of a puzzle, but if the ancient rabbinic interpretation, recorded in Midrash Kohelet, is accepted, that scattering stones is used symbolically of sexual intercourse, and gathering stones is of abstinence, then the first half of this verse is eminently connectable with the second half concerning embracing and refraining from embracing, and thus is to contain the same internal pattern as all the other verses in the catalog. So that was my my one other note on this chapter.
Okay. And Isaac, did you have anything more?
Just that some people, the traditional commentators, they don't understand the rhetorical question as Solomon, who knows God and speaks to him, whatever, actually believes that nobody knows what happens to a human soul. It's supposed to be like him saying that these people don't know and they live in that way. But a wise man would know that a human soul goes up and is judged, and an animal soul goes into the earth or whatever. That's how they understood it.
Did I hear you? Did a human sobers up? Is that what you said?
No, sorry, a human soul goes up and is judged.
Soul goes up. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. That's how he says it. Yeah. So he's saying that who knows, and he's saying that you should know because you are wise or whatever.
Guys,
I know. Yeah.
I accidentally stepped away right before we got on, so I forgot to mention to you guys there are several fires going on in my area. I am not at risk of being evacuated unless another one starts up. Fuck's sake. But I'm hoping to be able to drive my mom to the airport to take a flight somewhere she can breathe, because heart issues and other stuff. Breathing, it's important.
Okay. So do you have to go? Is that what you're saying?
Not right now, but if I run out in a panic, it's probably related to something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, there have been fires in, is it Oregon or Washington, somewhere up there as well?
Washington has been burning and poisoning our air for quite a while now, but now some have started up in BC, and one of our major highways is blocked in 2 places, so I would have to escape in the other direction. Yeah, I probably shouldn't get drunk is all I'm saying.
That's fair. Although, yeah, one of my friends who lives over there, I haven't heard from her in a while, so hopefully she's okay. Yeah, I think unless someone has something else to add on chapter 3, I think we'll go to Isaac for chapter 4.
And I feel like I've got more of a connection with Lawrence now since we bonded over Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, that's what we really needed. We didn't really have a connection beforehand, so I'm glad we can bond over the Bible.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Isaac.
All right.
Make sure
Ecclesiastes 4. I further observed all the oppression that goes on under the sun, the tears of the oppressed, with none to comfort them, and the power of their oppressors, with none to comfort them. Then I encountered those who died long since, more fortunate than those who are still living. And happier than either are those who have not yet come into being and have never witnessed the miseries that go on under the sun. I have also noted that all labor and skillful enterprise come from men's envy of each other, another futility and pursuit of wind. True, the fool folds his hands together, and has to eat his own flesh. But no less truly, better is a handful of gratification than 2 fistfuls of labor, which is pursuit of wind. And I have noted this further futility under the sun. The case of the man who is alone, with no companion, who has neither son nor brother, yet he amasses wealth without limit, and his eye is never sated with riches. For whom now is he amassing it while denying himself enjoyment? That too is futility and an unhappy business. 2 are better off than 1, in that they have greater benefit from their earnings. For should they fall, one can raise the other. But woe betide him who is alone and falls with no companion to raise him. Further, when 2 lie together, they are warm. But how can he who is alone get warm? Also, if one attacks, 2 can stand up to him. A threefold cord is not readily broken. Better a poor but wise youth than an old but foolish king who no longer has the sense to heed warnings. For the former can emerge from a dungeon to become king, while the latter, even if born to kingship, can become a pauper. However, I reflected about all the living who walk under the sun, with that youthful successor who steps into his place. Unnumbered are the multitudes of all those who preceded them, and later generations will not acclaim him either, for that too is futile and pursuit of wind. Be not overeager to go to the house of God. More acceptable is obedience than the offering of fools, for they know nothing but to do wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting chapter.
And this chapter was entirely about Elon.
all
Well,
of
I
his,
mean, the
his
old
datum.
king who's too stupid to take advice. I could see more than one possible lineup for that.
Yeah, there are definitely lots of people we can have in mind for this. But yeah, the essential idea for this chapter, again, we still have the same one of like we all have the same and we're all gonna die anyways. But it's better when you kind of do that with either it be friends or partners. So it is kind of saying like, well, if it's gonna be like it's finite, right? And it's not gonna last forever, and you're still all doomed to die. But it's just that much better if you're doing it for someone else, or with someone
Or
else.
with someone else. Yeah. I mean, it is better not to be alone. It is better to have someone at your back if you can genuinely rely on them. It is better, however, to be alone than with a partner who always expects you to be there for them and is never there for you.
Right. Yeah. And unfortunately, that describes a lot of friendships as well, where,
Yep.
yeah, it's just like if you are able to, kind of take a look back at some of your friendships, like you would see like, oh, I'm actually kind of not getting anything out of the friendship, and that's always been a weird thing for me, like getting something out of a friendship. But
It's
but
not about
the idea
quid
that you're
pro
getting across,
quo.
it's very much like know when you're being used in a friendship. That's like, is it actually a friendship? Like, would they still be around you if you weren't, helping them or giving them stuff, whatever it may be? So, yeah, I can definitely see that kind of philosophy. But yeah, the rest of it, yeah, how it's no matter what class you are in society, like you still do end the same way. But if you're doing it with let's say if you are doing this stuff for like good reasons, and if you're honest about it, something like that, then it's far better than the life someone will live if they're just amassing wealth.
So what we're going to get out of this is, yeah, everything's meaningless, and yeah, there's no point to it. But on the plus side,
Yeah, on the plus side, booze.
I mean, yeah. Didn't even Proverbs said, give wine to those who are perishing. Fuck it, we're all perishing. Drink up, bitches.
And then we've got a comment from My Unfinished Journey. Says, hail Aaron and panel, and hail futility.
I entirely agree with that statement. Pick up your "everything is meaningless" shirt at the.
Which, by the way, I want
Coffee
one of
Bean.
those shirts.
Hey, you know what? I got a link for you.
All right, thank you.
I need to start making merch, not only for my painting, but yeah, I would totally, because God is dead and all life is futility. Drink wine.
Have you guys ever seen that that Twitter page, Nihilist Arby's?
Nihilist Arby's.
Yeah. So this person is not working for Arby's in any way, but they always post like just some nihilistic truth where it essentially boils down to nothing matters, eat Arby's. And I like, this is great. This is so good. They should really take up this advertising because I absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
It's a really brilliant Twitter page, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm over on Blue Sky, so if they'd like to move somewhere where there are less fascists and bots, I would be delighted to read them.
Yeah, I'm not really on Twitter much anymore since it went full Nazi, but I sometimes I do stop by and see what Nihilist Arby's has been saying because it's very funny.
Fair enough.
All right.
Arby's is like a fast food restaurant or something like that.
Yeah. Arby's, we have the meats. It's a lot of meat.
Yeah, I always find it interesting how like some chains or whatever like stay local or some become international, and yeah. I'm like waiting for like there's a chain, American chain that I've never seen in like out like in the UK, and I was like wondering why we don't get bussies or whatever it's called.
Why we don't get pussies?
I guess we have enough as it is. Isn't that what it's called? What's it called?
Pussies?
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like there's like a marmot or something on the logo, or a beaver maybe. I don't know.
Oh wait, Buc-ee's?
Oh, is that what it's called?
Holy shit! Amazing.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Well, we know where your head is at.
Right, Isaac, big fan of pussy.
It's a shame we don't get it here. I'm joking.
Okay.
Probably
Okay,
said
so
it out
My
loud.
Unfinished Sock says, don't use your friends. Like and share the stream instead. And then Alira the Free offers 55 Turkish lira and says they turned ignorance into virtue, obedience into morality, assertion into evidence, and evidence into heresy. Religion reverses everything. Yeah.
Accurate.
Cheers on that one.
All right. Well, although we do now have a great business idea, pussies.
Okay.
It's already.
All of the names of the food would have to be incredibly suggestive, but in a way that kids wouldn't get.
Right. Yeah.
They would just think
But
it was
is
a
the
funny
logo a
word, and it
beaver?
would totally fly over their heads.
Yes, they
Is
to
the
make it
logo-
even worse. Yeah, not only would you think it's pronounced bussies, but it is a beaver.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I
Uh,
know kids don't really read cursive anymore, but goddamn.
Yeah, maybe I should message the mayor, because the mayor of London recently like went on about how they reintroduced beavers to London waterways and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, you need to bring the other one as well. We got the beavers, we need the buses now.
Well, Canada definitely has plenty of beaver. We do love our beaver. It's our national animal.
Oh,
And that definitely. Have you guys ever seen How I Met Your Mother?
What's
Yes.
that?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's that scene where Robin is singing a song from back when she was on a TV show,
Yeah.
and it was two beavers are better than one, and she was singing as a duet with her female co-star. So it's great. But anyways, I think we should hop back to the Bible.
Okay, and we'll
We've
get
sinned
back
enough.
into our we'll get back into the regular lineup. So I will be reading 5, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. To draw near, to listen, is better than the sacrifice offered by fools, for they do not know how to keep from doing evil. Never be rash with your mouth, nor let your heart be quick to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. For dreams come with many cares, and a fool's voice with many words. When you make a vow to God, do not delay fulfilling it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Fulfill what you vow. It is better that you should not vow than you it is better that you should not vow than that you should vow and not fulfill it. Do not let your mouth lead you into sin, and do not say before the messengers that it was a mistake. Why should God be angry at your words and destroy the work of your hands? With many dreams come vanities, and a multitude of words, but fear God. If you see in a province the oppression of the poor and the violation of justice and right, do not be amazed at the matter, for the high official is watched by a higher, and there are yet higher ones over them. But all things considered, this is an advantage for a land, a king for a plowed field. The lover of money will not be satisfied with money, nor the lover of wealth with gain. This also is vanity. When goods increase, those who eat them increase, and what gain has their owner but to see them with his eyes? Sweet is the sleep of laborers, whether they eat little or much, but the abundant of the rich will not let them sleep. There is a grievous ill that I have seen under the sun. Riches were kept by their owners to their hurt, and those riches were lost in bad venture. Though they are parents of children, they have nothing in their hands. As they came from their mother's womb, so shall they go again, naked as they came. They shall take nothing for their toil that they may carry away with their hands. This also is a grievous ill. Just as they came, so shall they go, and what gain do they have from toiling in the wind? Besides, all their days they eat in darkness, and in much anger and sickness and resentment. This is what I have seen to be good. It is fitting to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the toil with which one toils under the sun, the few days of life God gives us. This is our lot. Likewise, all to whom God gives wealth and possessions, and whom he enables to enjoy them and to accept their lot and find enjoyment in their toil, this is the gift of God. For they will scarcely brood over the days of their lives, because God keeps them occupied with the joy of their hearts.
Yeah, so we kind of have shifted in a pretty significant way, because while the other chapters were very much like, listen, nothing matters, we're all going to die at the end anyways, it doesn't matter what you have in this life. Now they're like, well, be happy for what you do have, because you're only going to have it for a short time. So they're just trying to find the silver lining to all these things, with the idea that, for example, you like greed will never be satisfied is very much accurate, and that pops up in the New Testament too, where I forget which book it was, but money is the root of all evil.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
Right, yes, the
And
love of
the
money.
hoarding, those who hoard wealth, You know, it's not just those who are a little better off than someone else. They hoard it. They sit atop, you know, your Bezos types who has obscene amounts of money while his workers pee in bottles and get food stamps. You're, you know, Elon Musk, who ignores all forms of safety regulations because how dare you tell me what to do? And just keeps building and not even building, just buying what others have built and slathering his ego all over it, and can't imagine why anyone hates him. It's just, I mean, I, it's both comforting and deeply depressing to know that those assholes have always been those assholes. But come on.
Right. Yeah. The thing is, it even kind of points to that kind of not just the greed itself, but also because you're so greedy, you can sometimes get a whole bunch of power. But the thing is, in the case of like a king, for example, remember there are different views of kingship throughout the Bible. There's the view that
Mhm.
kingship is bad because, like, giving a certain person power who isn't God is going to backfire. And then there's
Too
views
much
of the
power to one
kingship which are
person.
positive because, well, this person would not have been a king if he weren't divinely ordained. Um, so we kind of see that here in verse 8, if verse 8 and 9, I should say. If you see in a province the oppression of the poor and the violation of justice and right, do not be amazed at the matter, for the high official is watched by a higher, and there are yet higher ones over them. But all things considered, this is an advantage for a land, a king for a plowed field. Uh, yeah, the a government hierarchy may or may not be implied here, but watched by means that the high and mighty look out for one another, so the poor have no chance for justice. There is no satisfactory explanation of at least this verse 9 there. Yeah, but all things considered, this is an advantage for a land, a king for a plowed field. No satisfactory explanation for this verse. It is given or given the complications of the Hebrew, it has been suggested that it may mean that land should be obtained only for its advantage or yield, not merely to possess. So yeah, using what you do have in the most beneficial way that you can would be the kind of idea that's going on here. But the thing is, the verse 8 might also be pointing to, like, you know, at the top of this hierarchy, like, hopefully maybe God's at the top of this hierarchy, so eventually things will be just, because remember, in the end days, we're supposed to see this cosmic role reversal where the rich become poor and the poor become rich. So the just desserts maybe implied there. I didn't really have
I
that
understand the
much.
appeal of wanting justice to come at the end, even when we fail, but much as I hate Littlefinger, there's no justice in this world unless we make it. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So there, the view is, you know, it is a defeatist view, really, because it's like, you know, because we've already went over the philosophy of nothing matters, everything's going to end, but there's also a time for everything, time and place, because it's been ordained, basically. So you just kind of have to be there and hope something better happens. uh, because yeah, hopefully God has a better time ordained for you, but
Oh,
it sucks for them.
sorry.
'Cause-
I just had a memory of a funny little story. The little girl who was, you know, doing her whys, and I said, because God is dead and all life is futility. She is the daughter of a friend of mine who also went through all the evangelical bullshit and deconstructed. So she never taught her child any of the Christian bullshit that we were indoctrinated with. And when she got, I don't know, she was probably still like 5. She's like, "What's God?" And so her mother explained that some people believe that there's a man in the sky who made everything and controls everything. And she said, "No, they don't. That's stupid. Nobody believes that." And I was like, "Yes, yes, mwah, 10 out of 10." But yeah, so just so you know, there is some hope for the future.
Yeah, we mentioned Musk in this chapter, so I just want to remind everyone that July in the UK, Teslas became 0.3% of the market for sales. It's like a fall of like 48% or something like that from this time last year. But
Get
Oh,
your
wow.
electric cars from someone else.
I think they sold 500 cars this month or something like that. The whole country.
Right, yeah, it
I
sucks that like one of the
mean,
most readily available electric cars is run by a fucking maniac.
yeah, I'm not giving money to a fascist.
Yeah,
We're
No.
exactly.
making lots of trade deals with China and places that have been doing, solar power panels and all kinds of greener energy options for ages. I'm not sure why we're even continuing to negotiate trade deals with America, because there's no point. It'll just
Right.
get thrown out the next time Trump has a temper tantrum, which is literally the only thing he can be relied upon to do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there are better
yeah,
and cheaper Chinese electric car brands that are like very easily available now.
mhm.
BYD, JQ, Cherry. So like people are just like, why even bother with Tesla?
Yeah, that's a source of embarrassment for me. That there was a time, like a decade or so ago, when I liked Elon Musk. I bought into the mythology. I was told that he's this savant genius who started all these companies, and he's doing this kind of backhanded way of forcing the insidious fossil fuel industry to recognize the potential of electric cars. So he's producing all of these things, these wonderful advances, trying to take us into the future. All that great. And then I started seeing who he really is, and I
Yeah,
realized
like
that,
We
that
all
I
did.
didn't I
It
didn't
was a
look
good
into
myth.
him at first. It's just like I was just told, here's this guy doing this stuff. Oh, okay, well that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was the
And then
cave
here the
divers for me.
yeah,
But
and then we hear the rest of the story. I'm like, oh no, none of that was true. Everything I was told about him, none of it was true.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
the thing is, because much earlier in his life, he was much more of an environmentalist and like much more into like space exploration and stuff like that, and that stuff's great. But then we have, with as he got richer, it was very easy to see like, oh, this was all for the technocracy. This was all for the tech native America, uh,
yeah.
which they're still
Yeah, the
doing, but
push to techno feudalism is
yeah.
proceeding apace and needs to be burned down, even if you need to go Amish. But yeah, it was a good mythology, and you weren't, a tech bro who. We have to forgive ourselves for not being able to completely look into the evidence behind every casual thing that we come across. It's just not feasible. We do the best we can. But for fuck's sake, I can't do a PhD degree thesis on every piece of data or every image that comes up in conversation. It's not possible. It's not. And we have to be fair to ourselves and not expect ourselves to have never taken anything at face value.
Got a comment from Shut Up Matt. Says, remember, Aaron, beavers are considered clean, allowed by religions to be eaten on a Friday because scaly and live in water, therefore fish.
Not
not
scaly.
don't lump all religions in with the Catholics. Or
Yeah, the Catholics are weird.
any excuse.
I mean, to be fair, the Jews are weird too. They're all weird. They're
Yeah,
just
I mean, like,
different flavors.
making loopholes with making up rules and then making loopholes for those rules is a very like Jewish thing as well.
It's
But
very on
like,
point. Yeah.
oh, you can't eat meat on Fridays, but you can have beaver because it's a fish. Like that's just silly. Yeah.
Either way, let's
Maybe
someone,
beaver is not a fish, but it just smells like one.
wow, amazing, Ari. That'll be our tagline at Bussies when we open it.
I'm going to ask your wife to hit you.
Okay, got another comment from Tay Mustard 620 offers $5. Thank you very much. It says Baphomet and metal for all.
That's the American dream right there.
Yeah,
It's
next
my
week we're gonna hear Trump say that. Baphomet
Right.
for everybody.
Oh my god! Do you guys remember when he said "Praise Allah"? Do you guys remember that?
No, I
Yeah.
don't.
I
I'm
saw a
sorry.
report about it, yeah.
He's so fucking insane. I can't even.
Hold on. It was at like the end of some crazy tweet. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
this
like a whole
is-
tweet. Yeah.
Yeah, where did
There's
he-
a guy who reads his tweets in like these crazy voices, and every time Trump does like full caps, he'll like scream it. It's very funny.
Yeah, that's a good TikTok idea.
Yeah,
You don't want
I
to give
think
him
he
direct
actually.
attention, but it is funny.
And then you get like he'll do the comments as well. Like, I love Trump, America great again, Liberian flag, Liberian flag.
There's an entire subreddit devoted to people who use the Liberian flag instead of the American flag because Americans don't know anything about anything.
Oh yeah, this was on Easter too. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking straight. Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards. Is this the fucking real one? I'm trying to find the. Yeah, that is the fucking real one. This is
That
insane.
is the real one. You crazy
yeah.
bastards. I remember
Open
that.
open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump.
Do you remember when presidents used to have to think about what they said before they said it?
Oh my god, this fucking hellscape that we're living in, I fucking swear. All right, looks like we got another comment from Elira. If you want to read that, Aaron.
Yep, offers 220 Turkish lira and says Tesla cars use neodymium-based permanent magnets. That's a rare earth element. He buys those from Chinese suppliers who own 94% of the global industry, and China uses state-imposed forced labor that target persecuted Uyghurs.
Uyghurs.
Uyghurs?
Yeah.
I don't think
Uyghurs,
I've ever seen that word before. I don't even know what that means.
They're like a Muslim Turkic minority that live in like the far northwest.
It's a
of
minority
China.
ethnic group in the west part of China. China actually has many ethnic groups that it's descended from, but the Hans are kind of the predominant, took over everything. And they're quite persecuted. They are also Muslim, but they're largely persecuted because of basically racism and the terrorism of Muslim cell groups in other parts of the world are very much a convenient excuse for the bigotry of the Chinese government and people. And also, the idea that they're all dirty and thieves, because if you oppress people for long enough, they don't have access to a lot of things and they have to steal to live, then, you get to call them dirty thieves.
Okay.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, never.
But I think
Although a lot of Chinese people don't believe that is happening at all. So.
But I think we should go to the next chapter because I feel like we can probably finish the book today, honestly. So it's not super long. So I think that's me next. So chapter 6. There is an evil that I have seen under the sun, and it lies heavy upon humankind. Those to whom God gives wealth, possessions, and honor, so that they lack nothing of all that they desire, yet God does not enable them to enjoy these things, but a stranger enjoys them. This is vanity. It is a grievous ill. A man may father 100 children and live many years, but however many are the days of his years, if he does not enjoy life's good things or has no burial, I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. For it comes in vanity and goes in darkness, and in darkness its name is covered. Moreover, it has not seen the sun or known anything, yet it finds rest rather than he. even though he should live 1,000 years twice over, yet enjoy no good. Do not all go to one place? All human toil is for the mouth, yet the appetite is not satiated. For what advantage have the wise over fools? And what do the poor have who know how to conduct themselves before the living? Better is the sight of the eyes than the wandering of desire. This also is vanity and a chasing after wind. Whatever has come to be has already been named, and it is known what humans are, and that they are not able to dispute with those who are stronger. The more words, the more vanity. So how is one the better? For who knows what is good for mortals while they live the few days of their vain life, which they pass like a shadow? For who can tell them what will be after them under the sun? Yeah, kind of the same thing. Like those riches are never gonna uh, really bring you happiness, uh, and you'll just suffer however long your life is, and get you'll get no joy at the end of it all. Although there were a couple of interesting verses in here, right? Um, that like all this toiling is kind of what people live for and just do in their day to day lives. But in the end, like it's what keeps us alive, right? The grind. But it doesn't fucking matter because in the end, you're gonna not enjoy your life and die anyways. So love the nihilism.
There was a cartoon. I can't remember what cartoon it was. Maybe Ren and Stimpy. I can't remember. But there's like a community of elves, and they're all like work, 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 and then you die.
And that's is very accurate.
He says it is good for a man to enjoy his labor, the works of his hands. I like crafting things. I'm going to have to get more of this yarn because I owe my mom and her best friend shawls. But there are many things we do that we can genuinely enjoy the doing of. I mean, things like Wikipedia or the Internet Archives are maintained entirely by volunteers. Work doesn't have to be a miserable thing, but it is sometimes. And it especially is when you're forced into it constantly at overdrive against, like, our entire system makes work so much worse than it has to be. There are lots of things that I would do if I just, I would enjoy doing if I didn't have to put myself in the, if I don't do enough of this, I'm not going to be able to eat position. Like there's yeah, I don't know. You can enjoy your work. That is possible. And healthy. Where did our fearless leader go?
I'm not sure. However, I guess Isaac, did you have anything to say on this chapter?
Not really. A quick,
there was one other thing that I know that I wanted to talk about. Verse 4, yeah, for it comes in vanity and goes in darkness, and in darkness its name is covered. Where it's that's like would be the state of like being forgotten about, nobody knows it, that kind of thing. And of course that has parallels in the common biblical motif of being blotted out of the book of life.
Which is a fun way to die, I guess.
Just be born dead, I guess. Yeah. So I suppose in that case, should we go over to Lilith then for chapter 7?
For chapter 7, I'm happy to do it, but should we wait for our fearless leader?
I mean, we don't know how long he's going to be.
It's true. It's Aaron. Maybe he's getting another snake headband.
In verse 3, it says, even if a man shall beget 100 children and live many years, no matter how many. So that sounds crazy. Like 100 children. Well, actually, back then they had multiple wives, so 100 children was doable.
Well, if you were
Um,
fantastically rich and had a large harem,
Yeah,
then yes,
yes.
that would indeed be doable. Um,
Mm.
yeah, it's still a lot, and fuck, you better be able to feed them. But
Yeah. Yeah, I
anyway,
mean, even Russia's like, yeah, it's figurative. It's
it's
figurative.
also seems
I
like a bit of
walked out for a moment
hyperbole.
and I came into the wrong part of the sentence. I think
Mhm.
100 children is doable. Is that an Epstein quote?
Oh no, I would expect that from Trump.
That's a crazy thing to say in this day and age. This is the first year of bussies.
I meant begetting 100 children. Even if a man shall beget 100 children, yes. Then
Yes, yes.
back in those days
All
with
right.
multiple wives. But yeah, it was most probably just a figurative way of saying
Since
like
we
a lot.
can't have public, grotesque execution of those in the Epstein files who truly deserve it, let's move on to chapter 7.
Okay.
Wisdom. I'm still getting an echo. Are you, Lawrence?
I mean, I'm hearing it, but it's yeah. I really do think
thank
it's
God.
hard.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we had a problem right before it go off, but anyway, whatever. A good name is better than fine perfume, and the day of death better than the day of birth. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to go to a house of feasting, for death is the destiny of every man. The living should take this to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, because a sad face is good for the heart. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of pleasure. It is better to heed a wise man's rebuke than to listen to the song of fools. Like the crackling of thorns under the pot, so is the laughter of fools. This too is meaningless. Extortion turns a wise man into a fool, and a bribe corrupts the heart. The end of a matter is better than its beginning, and patience is better than pride. Do not be quickly provoked in your spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools. Do not say, why were the old days better than these? For it is not wise to ask such questions. Wisdom, like an inheritance, is a good thing, and benefits those who see the sun. Wisdom is a shelter, as money is a shelter. But the advantage of knowledge is this, that wisdom preserves the life of its possessor. Consider what God has done. Who can straighten what he has made crooked? When times are good, be happy, but when times are bad, consider God has made the one as well as the other. Therefore, a man cannot discover anything about the future. In this meaningless life of mine, I have seen both of these things, a righteous man perishing in his righteousness, and a wicked man living long in his wickedness. Do not be over righteous, neither be over wise. Why destroy yourself? Do not be over wicked, and do not be a fool. Why die before your time? It is good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. The man who fears God will avoid all extremes. Wisdom makes one wise man more powerful than 10 rulers in a city. There is not a righteous man on earth who does what is right and never sins. Do not pay attention to every word people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you, for you know in your heart that many times you yourself have cursed others. All this I tested by wisdom and said, I am determined to be wise, but this was beyond me. Whatever wisdom may be, it is far off and most profound. Who can discover it? So I turned my mind to understand, to investigate, and to search out wisdom and the scheme of things, and to understand the stupidity of wickedness and the madness of folly. I find more bitter than death the woman who is a snare, whose heart is a trap, and whose hands are chains. The man who pleases God will escape her, but the sinner she will ensnare. Look, says the teacher, this is what I have discovered. Adding one thing to another to discover the scheme of things. While I was still searching but not finding, I found one upright man among 1,000 and not one upright woman among them all. This only have I found: God made mankind upright, but men have gone in search of many schemes.
I think in this, at least in the first part of this chapter, there is this kind of more objective view, really. In verse
Yeah.
14, in the day of prosperity be joyful, and in the day of adversity consider. God has made the one as well as the other, so that mortals may not find out anything that comes after them. So when it kind of fits with the philosophy of everything has its time, there you don't really have control, but at the same time it's this it's I think should probably be viewed here as this more way, as this kind of coping mechanism, where it's like, yes, like God made you have bad days, but he also made you have good days. um made you have good things and bad things. So for one reason or another, that is the thing that needs to happen, and you just kind of gotta roll with it. Uh, Now we kind of view that as, like, the thing is, we actually want solutions to these problems.
Yeah.
Because if there's like a serious problem like world hunger or something, right? Like there's something that we can do to solve this. It's not just them having another bad day, and they'll get a good one eventually. Like, no, we can do things. But at a time when some of this stuff would have been way more difficult,
Well, and
it served
no
as a
matter
cope.
how many solutions you find to the problems we face, there will indeed be good and bad days. And sometimes you just have to face the struggle and be like, well, this is going to suck. Fuck. And that's all you can do. And accepting that is an important part, I think, of growing up. Um, but there was a verse I actually really had a problem with growing up. Then, do not be over virtuous or over wise. Why destroy yourself? Because that seemed wrong to me as a child. Aren't you supposed to be good? Aren't you supposed to try and be good? Aren't you supposed to try and learn things? Like, this just sounds fucking hypocritical. But I hadn't at that point read any Buddhism, for example, and looking at history and life and things, the goody goodies are the thieves of virtue. You see things like suffering, and it is noble to be able to endure suffering when it comes. But then other people get all wound up about how virtuous that is, and they end up creating suffering in order that they may virtuously endure it. And then they end up pretending that they're suffering when they're not. And it becomes this whole absurdity. I mean, that was what the Puritans were all about. They made life miserable for everyone because joy was the enemy. Taking things to extremes just sours. And if folly is turning the mind off, then you know what? You probably need a bit of that too, because we all need to sleep sometimes.
Yeah, I think one of the points that could be in there is that, like, if you try too hard to be virtuous, then like you end up just kind of being sad and depressed and overwhelmed because you're working so hard to attain this. Uh, I actually had a pretty interesting conversation a few months ago with a Muslim, and he said that, like, while he wants to be virtuous and he wants to follow God's rules and all that, the more you study these things, the more things you are prohibited from doing. So it's kind of like blissful ignorance is like more. I mean, there's a reason it's blissful ignorance, right? It's because, like, you don't know what's hurting you, essentially. So, like, if he were to learn something new, that would be, maybe there's like something else he can't eat or something else he can't do in his life. So like that would cause strife. Like, it makes your life more difficult the more you learn about like certain prescriptions in a certain tradition. So I think that's a kind of a good parallel to this. But I suppose, unless someone has something else to add, should we move on to Isaac's reading? Unless he's got something.
Yeah, nothing interesting, and from what I can see.
I was just saying, we
Yeah.
have 12 chapters in Ecclesiastes. That's a lot to get through, but we could.
Wait, hold on just a second.
Mm,
Yeah, but they're not very. Like these are not very long. They are pretty short.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess. Well, actually, hold on. I think.
Sure. Break it in half.
Yeah, I guess we can break it in half, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, I think. Because like the thing is, like if we could theoretically stop it here. Honestly, it does feel kind of short, but we could theoretically do that. But at the same time, the next week would also be pretty short. Because if we were to do them all together, I think that it would just be a very long show today. So I don't know what everyone's got going on. Well, like we could potentially do it here.
Well, then we would only have 4 chapters next week in Ecclesiastes, unless we wanted to start on Song of Songs, which is fine.
We have 5 if we stop here.
What if we
Okay.
what if we finish the book tonight, if we're okay with going a bit longer, and then we skip next week, and then the week after we start the new book?
Skip next week. Do you have something going on?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm planning to go to Wales, so it'd be good if I don't have to like
Aw.
come back in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. I
Okay.
mean, we can do
do
that.
that.
Yeah.
That makes
If
sense.
Aaron's all right with it.
I mean, Wales, it's just right there.
I'm sure you can find a Greek, not a Greek. Sorry, I'm reading the guy in chat that says he's a
Isn't
Greek.
Cardiff like 30-minute drive from
You,
London?
you can find a snake appreciation day. I'm sure.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to North Wales. So it's still. I mean, it's like 4.5 hours on the train. It's not like it's really easy. Maybe I
There's
change a
places
train.
in England that are 4.5 hours away from other places.
Yes. Edinburgh, London to Edinburgh, which is obviously not the furthest you can go, is also about 4.5 hours, or even less, on the fast train. So
My friend DPR Jones, who Lawrence I think has met.
No.
You didn't meet him?
Nope.
Okay. Anyway, Lawrence was from Nottingham, and he came on a road trip with me where he landed in Albuquerque, and I wanted to drive him to the American Atheist National Convention in Salt Lake City. And the reason was because I wanted to show him the mountains, the desert, all of this wonderful scenery, because really stunning vistas and all like this. And remember his complaint to me was like, "You want me to sit in a car for literally hundreds and hundreds of miles?" Because he's not getting the point to it all. And I had secretly set up, without mentioning it to him, that we were also going to stop in Las Vegas, that we were going to go to the Grand Canyon, we're going to go to the Meteor Crater, we're going to see all this, and I'm just putting this without telling him what we're doing. But when we left Salt Lake City, he made me pull over so that he could take a picture of a road sign. It's like right outside of Salt Lake City, there's a sign that says Las Vegas, 451 miles. And he says, nothing in England is 451 miles away. Anyway,
yeah,
that was fun.
Brits really need to learn how to enjoy car trips.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 400 miles from London to Edinburgh, but whatever.
Yeah, and
By
we did a
roads.
trade-off thing. He let me drive his car in the UK so that I could drive on the wrong side of the road. And then I let him drive my Suburban in the Southwest Desert so he could do the same.
Yeah.
It is
All
the
right.
way.
I think we should hop back to the reading then.
Okay.
All right.
So that's Isaac with
Yeah.
chapter 8.
Chapter 8. Who is like the wise man, and who knows the meaning of the adage, a man's wisdom lights up his face, so that his deep discontent is dissembled. Is dissembled? Does that mean like seen?
Understood more.
Okay.
Yeah, being
dissembled.
wise makes one face shine, but arrogance changes one's face.
Oh, okay. And then it's just I don't know what this word dissembled is. Yeah, it's changed.
getting
Okay,
an
that's another way
echo.
of translated. Oh yeah.
I've only ever heard it used in terms of like taking something apart.
Oh, that's disassembled. This is just
No,
dissembled
no, because it
without the
was the way
A.
it was mispronounced in Roger Rabbit when the weasels said we're going to disresemble the place.
Dissemble is more like taking apart the idea and understanding it than
Okay. Okay, like
disassembling like
semblance.
a
Like there's no
yeah,
semblance
Yep.
dissembled.
you're
Okay,
getting
interesting.
an understanding of the shape of things. It's not necessarily fully disassembling the idea, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
understanding it.
Oh, I thought I'd look at a different translation to make more sense. Translate. Steinsaltz translates it as his arrogance is ameliorated. Another lovely word that we all use all the time. Okay. Should we mute and I'll continue?
Go ahead, please.
Because there's a bit of an echo. So.
Sorry, I'm just remembering to mute.
Oh, okay. Okay, verse 2. I do. Obey the king's orders and don't rush into uttering an oath by God. Leave his presence. Do not tarry in a dangerous situation, for he can do anything he pleases. Inasmuch as the king's command is authoritative, and none can say to him, "What are you doing?" One who obeys orders will not suffer from the dangerous situation. A wise man, however, will bear in mind that there is a time of doom. For there is a time for every experience, including the doom, for a man's calamity overwhelms him. Indeed, he does not know what is to happen, even when it is on the point of happening. Who can tell him? No man has authority over the life breath to hold back the life breath. There is no authority over the day of death. There is no mustering out from that war. Wickedness is powerless to save its owner. All these things I observed. I noted all that went on under the sun, while men still had authority over men to treat them unjustly. And then I saw scoundrels coming from the holy site and being brought to burial, while such as had acted righteously were forgotten in the city. And here is another frustration. The fact that the sentence imposed for evil deeds is not executed swiftly, which is why men are emboldened to do evil. The fact that a sinner may do evil 100 times and his punishment still be delayed. For although I am aware that it will be well with those who revere God since they revere him, and it will not be well with the scoundrel, and he will not live long because he does not revere God, here is a frustration that occurs in the world. Sometimes an upright man is requited according to the conduct of the scoundrel, and sometimes the scoundrel is requited according to the conduct of the upright. I say all that is frustration. I therefore praised enjoyment. For the only good a man can have under the sun is to eat and drink and enjoy himself. That much can accompany him in exchange for his wealth through the days of life that God has granted him under the sun. For I have set my mind to learn wisdom and to observe the business that goes on in the world, even to the extent of going without sleep day and night. And I have observed all that God brings to pass. Indeed, man cannot guess the events that occur under the sun, for man tries strenuously but fails to guess them. And even if a sage shall think to discover them, he would not be able to guess them.
So I think that, for this chapter, it's very Buddhist-esque in its philosophy, in that the wisdom that attaining is that wisdom is the realization that everything sucks, basically, and the only thing you can really do is just try to enjoy what you already have, or how you can already live.
Can I put that on a T-shirt? Wisdom is the realization that everything sucks.
Please do. Yeah, because the thing is, yeah, you're all gonna die. It doesn't fucking matter. There's things you can't control, so you just kind of gotta go along for the ride and do what you can for the time being. Yeah, I'd say that the one interesting thing I saw here was in verse 2: keep the king's command, and because of your sacred oath, do not be terrified. Uh, so when you're making oaths, right, these are all, they're all like deals with God, essentially, promises with God. Even if you're making it to another person, it's still like you're still invoking a deity. So if so you should keep that command, lest you don't break the oath, because if you do, bad things. So that one was interesting to me, just because of the position of the kingship there.
Yeah, I mean, and in a time of absolute kings, as I said many times, yeah, it is wise to treat that like an absolute power or a law of nature, the way the ancient Chinese did, because you just, that for the average person, that is exactly as much in your control as an earthquake. Like you're just gonna have to go with what they tell you to do to a point, at least. I wish there was more discussion of personal integrity. There's, at the beginning of 7, a good name is better than fine perfume. Yes, good credit, a good name, those are valuable, worthwhile things to have. I keep my oaths because of my personal integrity, not because I give a fuck whether or not God has a temper tantrum over it. It's, I think that's a better answer to the question in the end. I think living to be the kind of person that you can respect is a better goal to have. And yeah, absolutely, have some fun and enjoy what you can. But ultimately, I'd rather respect my own company than just, you know, get along by being what everyone else says I should. That's just me, though. Where did Lawrence go?
Yeah. Any other interesting observations of
I
chapter
noticed
8?
that he talks about how he knows God will bring justice to the, the wicked and yet he points out several times that he's seen the opposite happen a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. But that's faith.
Yeah, but I have
Right.
also seen the opposite happen a lot. So, either the righteous are rewarded for their righteousness or they are not. And
No, I,
the
I agree
evidence
with
is quite
Isaac.
clear.
Faith is being determined to believe what is not evidently true.
And even
If
in
we're
the
going
face
to
of
choose nonsense
negative
to make up,
evidence, to still
if we're
believe
going to
it.
choose
Yeah.
nonsense to make up and believe just because we need it as a psychological protection or whatever, can't we come up with something better?
So we got a comment addressed at Isaac. Sable Eagle says, "Is Isaac planning to climb Yerwidfa and look southeast to see whether the Austrian Alps are visible from there, like that one flat earther claimed?" I think,
That would be a hilarious
You're-
way to test it.
yeah,
Yeah, by
Isaac, I
all
think you're
means.
muted.
yeah, you muted Isaac.
Yeah. Urwithfa is a mountain in Wales. It is in North Wales, and I theoretically could climb it but it would be from where I'm based. I'll be in Llandudno, and I will be like, it probably would take me like 2 hours or something just to get to the bottom of it. So I'm not, it's not part of the plan, but I don't think I need to climb that mountain to know not that I won't be able to see the Alps from it. Yeah.
I mean,
You
it's
should at least
not
be able to
hard
see the
to.
Eiffel Tower, right?
No, you can see that from London. There is a in southeast London on one of there's like a London's kind of like in a valley because of the river. So like the sort of southern hills, or I don't know what you would call it. There is a very tall like television tower or radio tower in an area called Crystal Palace. And when we were kids, you could see it from certain parts of North London because it's like hill, valley, and then a hill on the other side. We're like, oh, we could see France, we could see the Eiffel Tower. But yeah, obviously you can't see that far.
And the Statue of Liberty would be easy enough too if the Earth is in fact flat.
Yeah.
The Earth
Definitely.
hasn't been flat since the fall of the two trees.
Yeah. What's his name? The god who made the world round? Oh god, I keep forgetting the name. Iluvatar? Eru Iluvatar? That's it.
Eru Iluvatar.
Eru Iluvatar. Okay. Yeah, the
He
king
is-
of the creator god.
Elevator indeed. So unless someone has anything else to add on this chapter, I
Don't you
think
fuck with my Tolkien. I will come for you, Lawrence.
Okay, then Illyria the Free offers 55. Because it shows up as TRY, I keep trying to say Transylvanian lira. No, Turkish lira. Freedom of religion somehow became religion's freedom from everyone else. Goodness doesn't need eternity watching through a keyhole. I'm on a roll.
Agreed.
Yep, thank you. Who's reading this one?
I think it's you, Arn.
Oh, it's me. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And which chapter? Where is my? There we go. All right. So we are on. Is it 10?
9.
9. Okay. Is that? Or would you just tell me no in German?
No.
9.
All this I laid to heart, examining it all, how the righteous and the wise and their deeds are in the hand of God. Whether it is love or hate, one does not know. Everything that confronts them is vanity, since the same fate comes to all, to the righteous and to the wicked and the good and the evil, to the clean and the unclean, those who sacrifice and those who do not sacrifice. As are the good, so are the sinners, those who swear like those who shun the oath. This is an evil in that all that happens under the sun, that the same fate comes to everyone. Moreover, the hearts of humans are full of evil. Madness is in their hearts while they live, and after that they go to the dead. But whoever is joined with all that living has hope, for a living dog is better than a dead lion. For living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no more reward, and even the memory of them is lost. This is God's word, people. The dead know nothing. There we go. Their love and their hate and their envy have already perished. Never again will they have any share in all that happens under the sun. Go eat your bread with enjoyment and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has long ago approved what you do. Let your garments always be white. Do not let oil be lacking on your bread. Enjoy life with the wife whom you love all the days of your vain life that are given you under the sun, because that is your portion in life, and your toil in which you toil under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do with your might, for there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol, to which you are going. Another important message. There's no heaven. You're going to Sheol. You're not going to know anything. The dead don't know anything. The dead are dead. Again, I saw that under the sun the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor to the skillful, but time and chance happen to them all. There's another important message there. For no one can anticipate one's time, like fish taken in a cruel net, or like birds caught in a snare. So mortals are snared at a time of calamity, when it suddenly falls upon them. I have also seen this example of wisdom under the sun, and it seemed great to me. And there was a little city with few people in it. A great king came against it and besieged it, building great siege works against it. Now there was found in it a poor, wise man, and he, by his wisdom, delivered the city. Yet no one remembered that poor man. So I said, wisdom is better than might, yet the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heeded. The, the quiet words of the wise are more to be heeded than the shouting of a ruler among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one bungler destroys much good. We talk about Trump again?
I mean, he does admittedly do every stupid, foolish, cruel, and evil thing humanly possible. He is kind of the cartoonish icon for them all. But we've seen selections throughout history and even our own lives of, smaller versions of that. It's just so few really even aspire to the total astronomical shit show of repulsive, evil, folly, stupidity, cruelty, and every other kind of vice without a single redeeming quality that Trump has. I mean, even, a tyrant, Napoleon, warmongers, at least he had courage to fight. Trump doesn't even have that. Like, he has all the ill and none of the good that would naturally have come with those ills. So it's, he's kind of the ultimate example of everything you should not wish to be.
Now, for this chapter, I would say it's also very the same idea of just kind of taking everything as it comes, just kind of going along for the ride. It's very Taoist, honestly. Like don't fight the tide of like whatever's happening in your life. Go with the flow, right? That's at least for the first part of this chapter, because like in that time, like do what you can to stay happy, but your life's gonna end at a time unknown to you. So just kind of go with it. Like it doesn't matter how many good things or how many bad things you do. We've covered this in other chapters as well, where like the fools, they can become rich and live long lives, and you can be as righteous as you want to be and you could still live a short life. So at least for the first part of this chapter, I would say it's almost very Taoist philosophy. And even in the second part of the chapter, like you have just some random guy in a city, but he's gonna be forgotten too. So,
even though he saved everyone,
yeah, doesn't matter. We're all gonna die.
I mean, who is the most virtuous and best man who ever lived? If you count on the basis of their effect on people, I would say, was it Herman Borlaug? He was a food scientist. Norman Borlaug, yes. Food scientist. Through the use and application of GMOs, he invented new strains that could be used in areas with desperate poverty and starvation and droughts and what have you.
It was a hardier sort of a wheat, if I remember correctly.
Well, he did multiple. There was a hardier sort of a wheat, a hardier sort of a rice, and various things in various places. He saved 1 billion lives.
Yeah.
The average person on the street, if asked to name the most virtuous person they could think of, would probably name someone like Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
That's a whole other
a cruel,
clusterfuck.
vindictive sadist.
Yeah.
We've got a couple comments. Ann Steven 9631 sent 5 Aron-Ra gift memberships. Thank you. And then Shut Up Matt says, Aron, this chapter sounds a lot like Voltaire. A bit.
Yeah, it sounds like a whole lot of things, because like this is not a unique realization. Like if you have like basically nothing to fucking do, like if you're, generally inquisitive, like you will come to the conclusion that everything fucking sucks and we're all gonna die. Nothing matters. Like you'll get there eventually.
True. It's true. And I think we can point to so many different philosophers that bits of this are remnant of, because it's not just wisdom at the end when you've found the answer, but it's going through the journey of trying to be virtuous and wise and learning things. And it's good, but it still doesn't fix, there's still a limit and an end to it. And then you try pleasure, and that has its rewards, but still, again, it's not the answer you're looking for. And you go through all these different things until you come to the point of having to, I guess, practice a form of radical acceptance, surrendering to the fact that there are certain things you just can't change about life, and that it isn't always going to be what it should be, and that there's nothing you can do to change that. And that's a difficult realization to come to, and a large number of, at least religious factions, if not whole religions, are made out of a desperate desire to avoid actually facing that difficult truth, and many difficult truths. But I think that this is where perhaps some, religious leaders or icons or Buddhas or whatever have you may have been trying to share, was coming to this realization and coming to terms with the good and the ill of what life is, and accepting it is what you ultimately need to do as a human being. And you won't be content until you do.
So I pulled up a comment that I saw that I wanted to address real quick. Uncle with some numbers says, would love a Book of Enoch reading. Not gonna lie, you know where you can find that? You can find that on the Behold Network.
Behold!
On the Behold Network YouTube channel, is the first book that we read in our series, Friday Apocryphal Podcast, otherwise known as FAP.
And then we have another comment from Shut Up Matt, who says, Aaron, Voltaire on his deathbed says, no, I will not renounce the devil. This is no time to be making enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that quote. Of course, he's Voltaire, so he probably said it very dramatically. Sir, this is no time to be making enemies. Because that's how he do. God, that man was dramatic.
Does anyone else have something on chapter 9, or should I read chapter 10?
Do it. Do it.
You got it. All right.
Get on with it.
Dead flies make
Get
the
on with it.
perfumer's ointment give off a foul odor. So a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor. The heart of the wise inclines to the right, but the heart of a fool to the left. Even when fools walk on the road, they lack sense and show to everyone that they are fools. If the anger of the ruler rises against you, do not leave your post, for calmness will undo great offenses. There is an evil that I have seen under the sun, as great an error as if it proceeded from the ruler. Folly is set in many high places, and the rich sit in a low place. I have seen slaves on horseback and princes walking on the ground like slaves. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and whoever breaks through a wall will be bitten by a snake. Whoever quarries stones will be hurt by them, and whoever splits logs will be endangered by them. If the iron is blunt and one does not whet the edge, then more strength must be exerted, but wisdom helps one to succeed. If the snake bites before it is charmed, there is no advantage in a charmer. Words spoken by the wise bring them favor, but the lips of fools consume them. The words of their mouths begin in foolishness, and their talk ends in wicked madness. Yet fools talk on and on. No one knows what is to happen, and who can tell anyone what the future holds? The toil of fools wears them out, for they do not even know the way to town. Alas for you, O land, when your king is a child and your princes feast in the morning. Happy are you, O land, when your king is a nobleman and your princes feast at the proper time, for strength and not drunkenness. Through sloth and the roofs through sloth the roof sinks in, and through indolence excuse me, the house leaks. Feasts are made for laughter, wine gladdens life, and money meets every need. Do not curse the king even in your thoughts, or curse the rich even in your bedroom, for a bird of the air may carry your voice, or some winged creature tell the matter. So
Like a winged cell phone?
yeah,
Fuck Jeff Bezos with the dry cactus. Fuck Elon Musk with a dry pine tree.
yeah, they're
Keep
listening
the
to us.
rich.
Uh,
I just figured I'd give him something worth paying attention to.
right, yeah. Yeah, this one, the the biggest thing is what he calls the great error, right? Or this evil. Folly is being set in many high places, the rich sit in a low place. Now this the reason this is so crazy is because that's not supposed to happen yet. I shouldn't say that. Things that, like, this is not part of the cosmic role. I mean, the slaves on horseback, princes walking on the ground falls more into that cosmic role reversal that I've been talking about. But the the other part of it is that, like, things are out of place. They're not where they should be. There's a role for basically everything. There's a task. There is a duty to be fulfilled, or there is at the very least. Like we talked about, like, everything happens in its own time. Everything is preordained to happen already. You just kind of have to know your role, essentially. And the crazy thing here is that this evil is shifting things too much. That things are way too off balance. So there is still this respect for the kingship while acknowledging that it can be bad. It doesn't matter because God placed it there, and that's the way things are. So we do continue with that kind of defeatist philosophy.
I mean, it is reflective of the Buddhist philosophy. Someone's pointing out that it's also, oh no, it's not Buddhist, it's ancient Greek. There were several Greek philosophical schools, but that's neither here nor there. There's an element to this is, in a sense, the question, the problem, the struggle that all philosophy deals with.
Also, so sorry to interrupt, Lilith. The person in chat, I feel like they're one of the people that that thinks the Greek is the original when it's not. So I've been trying to ignore it. There are parallels in other philosophies as well. But the thing is, like I said, it's because it's not a unique realization that nothing matters. Plenty of cultures came up with this. It is not dependent on in this case, it's not dependent on Greek or Taoist. It's just contains the same realization.
Yeah, I mean, the text is
life do be like that.
The original text is in Hebrew, but it is latish, right? It would have had possibly some Hellenistic ideas, like the author.
Well, like I said, we're not entirely sure when.
Right.
So it's totally possible that there could have been Hellenistic ideas involved.
But it doesn't have to be because, exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. Human philosophers, this is the question we've all been dealing with forever, ever since we became self-aware and had enough time between trying not to die to think about it, which doesn't take a lot if you have the kind of brain that won't shut the fuck up, which I'm guessing this author did. Now, who's reading what next?
Well, unless someone has something to add on anything from chapter 10, I think you got chapter 11. Isaac, maybe, perhaps?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So is it my turn or Lilith's?
Well, it would be Lilith's turn, but it sounded like you wanted to add something.
No, I was just double checking.
All right, bread upon the waters then. Chapter 11, Ecclesiastes. Cast your bread upon the waters, and after many days you will find it again. Give portions to 7, yes, to 8, because you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. If clouds are full of water, they pour rain upon the earth. Whether a tree falls to the south or to the north, in the place where it falls, there it will lie. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. As you do not know the path of the wind or how the body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things. We know both of those things now. Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let not your hands be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. Light is sweet, and it pleases the eyes to see the sun. However many years a man may live, let him enjoy them all. But let him remember the days of darkness, for they will be many. Everything to come is meaningless, or an illusion if you're a Buddhist. Be happy, young man, while you are young, and let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart and whatever your eye sees, but know that for all these things God will bring you to judgment. So then banish anxiety from your heart and cast off the troubles of your body, for youth and vigor are meaningless. That is an
Yay.
interesting sequence.
Yeah.
Like, God will call you to account for all these things. Therefore, banish anxiety. That does not follow.
Yeah, eat, drink, and be merry, and you'll be damned for it anyway.
All right, where's the booze? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
More stuff about the things that you don't know, right? Like at the time, this would have had far more weight, but now we do understand these things. But it doesn't even matter that we understand these things on a different level now, because I mean there are plenty of Christians that still come back with, oh well, they're gonna ask for like more understanding of more things, which is great. I'm also looking for those answers, but the thing is, God's always kind of pushed back or into the background more and more often.
it's I mean, even Hitchens said when he says God knows, he really means nobody knows. It's almost an idiom in language. And it's fair to say, you know what, using God as kind of this vague catch-all for what we don't understand, if you just leave it at that and you're like, God knows. I mean, which is kind of, the Muslims, a lot of them, depending on what the cultural background, they kind of say Allahu Akbar in the same way. It's like, oh, fuck if I know. Allahu Akbar, whatever. It's God's business. Which, yeah, we can't all know everything. It takes way too much time. I don't know. Finding a balance is important, but it also means coming to terms with uncertainty and difficulty and not letting it overwhelm you. And that is actually a lot harder than people realize.
Yeah, death will always be longer than life.
Is it though?
Yeah. All right. I mean, I didn't really have much to say about this chapter overall. So if someone else has thoughts, think.
Got a comment from Alira the Free. Says, Peter, Aaron, Lilith, Isaac, and Lawrence, thank you for a great show today. I hope to watch for years to come. Dear chat, like, sub, join the Behold Network, Discord, Alira out.
Damn
Thank you
right.
very much. Thank you very much, Alira.
Thank you, Alira.
Love you, Alira.
Yeah. All right, chapter 12.
Yep. Finishing it off. Let's go. I love it when they finish. All right, go ahead, Isaac.
So, appreciate your
We've
vigor.
got an echo.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's all right.
That's
I'm
okay.
going to hit mute. I just wanted to say, okay, Isaac is going to finish on us. Go ahead.
So appreciate your vigor in the days of your youth, before those days of sorrow come, and those years arrive of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Before sun and light and moon and stars grow dark, and the clouds come back again after the rain. When the guards of the house become shaky, and the men of valor are bent, and the maids that grind, grown few, are idle, and the ladies that peer through the windows grow dim, and the doors to the street are shut, with the noise of the handmill growing fainter, and the song of the bird growing feebler, and all the strains of music dying down, when one is afraid of heights, and there is a terror on the road, the almond tree may blossom, the grasshopper be burdened, and the caper bush may bud again, but man sets out for his eternal abode, with mourners all around in the street. Before the silver cord snaps, and the golden bowl crashes, the jar is shattered at the spring, and the jug is smashed at the cistern, and the dust returns to the ground as it was, and the life breath returns to God who bestowed it. Utter futility, said Koheleth. All is futile. A further word. Because Koheleth was a sage, he continued to instruct the people. He listened to and tested the soundness of many maxims. Koheleth sought to discover useful sayings and recorded generally truthful sayings. The sayings of the wise are like goads, like nails fixed in prodding sticks. They were given by one shepherd. A further word. Against them, my son, be warned. The making of many books is without limit, and much study is a wearying of the flesh. The sum of the matter, when all is said and done, revere God and observe his commandments, for this applies to all mankind, that God will carry every creature to account for everything unknown, be it good or bad. The sum of the matter, when all is said and done, revere God and observe his commandments, for this applies to all humankind. Okay, and that's the end of the book.
Yep. So we start off with like the whole nothing matters thing. We get into there is a time for everything. Everything was already set from the beginning, essentially. So everything that is happening now, in a very determinist way, just try to enjoy what's going on now, because it's not like
I
you
have
can
a
really change it.
I have a question on translations.
Mhm.
Because in the version that Lawrence and I are reading, the last verse says, God will bring every deed into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil.
Yeah.
And I'm confused as to
Yeah, it seems
I
that
have that one too.
it seems that the Hebrew text has the 13th verse like duplicated at the end.
Hmm.
Sure. Yeah, because it
Although
does say like the sum of the matter, the end of the matter twice there.
although I'm looking at Safaria and verse 14 has Hebrew and then the English translation, but it only has Hebrew for the first half of the verse. So maybe it's just a Safaria bug. Let me check that.
Oh, you're doing Safari. Okay.
Let me
Yeah, I'm
just
not.
check Chabad.org, Ecclesiastes.
I don't know, but we've got to get
Chap-
Aaron's audio fixed by next time.
Yeah. Chapter 12, go. Last verse. No, I think it might just be a bug, or not a bug, but like a mistake on Safari itself. I think
Oh, okay.
because if the Hebrew doesn't have the verse 13 repeated, it's just verse 13, the sum of the matter, blah, blah,
Oh, okay.
blah.
So it might be
And then-
just on. Yeah.
Yeah, because like if on Chabad.org is like verse 14 is the same. For every deed, God will bring to judgment for every hidden thing, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
And there's no
And when it
repetition.
says like the secret things, like the just things that like aren't out in the open, right?
Everything
Because remember,
unknown
and
is
yeah, unknown. Yeah.
hidden thing. Yeah.
Remember the stuff that we covered in the other chapter about like don't talk shit about anyone, because like what do they say, like a bird might carry it or something like that. So like that stuff would still be things that God knows.
Mm,
So like that would be the secret things, the
yeah.
stuff that's like said in private. Uh,
Yeah.
However,
Right.
like it starts off with that kind of very defeatist philosophy and ends off with like, well, you just gotta know your role. Like even though everything is gonna end and there will like the cycle's just gonna continue and repeat, you gotta do what you can now. Gotta do the best you can, so that it ends off with following God's commandments is like as best as you can, right?
Mm,
Now, I saw someone in chat earlier ask about the authorship of this and if there because it is so disjointed, why were there many authors? And the thing is, that's totally possible that there were many authors. In fact, I think most scholars even think that they argue about which sections are original or which
mm,
sections just have had random additions or interpolations. That stuff happens
mm,
throughout all of biblical history. So
yeah. I
there
mean,
there were like a lot of like this could even in its original form be just a compilation of other things and other observations that have been made. So that's totally possible, but it's like
It even
very
says the
difficult to
teacher
know.
went searching for good, knowledge and
Right,
wisdom
yeah.
sayings that would be helpful. So it's, yeah, totally.
Yeah, but it is disjointed, absolutely.
Is any book of Proverbs, wisdom sayings, or philosophy not a bit disjointed?
No, not really. They are disjointed, all of them.
Mm.
Like
Seems like
they
a
maintain
vibe.
they maintain like maybe a couple themes throughout, and that's about it. But then again, like almost every single book has that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and the thing that makes it difficult is, I mean, it's always been difficult, but the thing that makes it really difficult for something like this is that there is no, you can't really pull any historical information out of it. So like, it's hard to
No.
date. It's hard to like, even if you look at it linguistically, it's difficult too. So yeah, it's always up for debate until we find something new.
Eh, there is nothing new under the sun.
Damn right. There you go. Nothing. We also have those shirts as well. Nothing new under the sun. And that one might be one of my favorites. It's a little bee laying down on the sun, all depressed, and then under the sun it says nothing new.
Aww,
Yeah, I like
poor
that shirt.
baby.
Although I discovered that with these shirts, especially the Teespring ones, if you have like pets or something, there's gonna be hair on it, and you can't really use a lint roller for it because it pulls the stuff off. So it just like it's not even that it fades; it's that you're literally taking off the I don't know what it is. It's not ink, but whatever the fuck it is, to put the art on there. You're just taking that stuff off. So like my nothing new under the sun shirt is like half gone because of that. And for this one, I made sure not to do it, and it still looks really nice. So yeah,
Yay!
just fair warning.
Well, instead of
for these
those
shirts.
sticky rollers, get the lint brush thing that just kind of pulls the hair by
Right,
brushing
yeah.
over it without sticking.
I
Anyway,
have not tested those on the shirts yet, but I could.
That whole thing about nothing new under the sun completely fails to take into account motorcycles and fidget spinners and fleshlights.
Well, no, see, the thing is, people have always wanted to fidget. They've always been horny, and they've always loved the ride. So, yeah, to see nothing new under the sun.
admittedly, go faster. How much of human history and technological advancement from taming the horse to going to the moon was it just about, but can we go faster? How about now? Now? Faster? Go faster. You're not
Uncle
a-
1839 says, I'm curious, does the stream here, or does the stream have a preferred Bible translation? Personally, I use the ESV for referencing.
I mean, the probably the Aron Okay, never mind. Sorry, there's a lag. So for translations right now, the NRSVUE is the best. Just the best translation. But the thing is, there's nothing, or there's no such thing as a perfect translation. There will always be mistakes. You're always going to need some commentary to understand things fully. And the physical copy of the NRSVUE, here's this one. So this is the SBL Study Bible. So it uses the NRSVUE, but then it also has notes. I think when I got this, it was like $50. It may or may not be that amount now. I guess you can check and find out. But I would say that obviously the best thing to do is to just learn Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. But that's way too much fucking work. I don't expect people to do that.
Otherwise, do as he says and buy the NRSV LGBT UAE Bible.
Yeah, the Alphabet Bible. Yeah.
The Alphabet Mafia Bible.
Yeah. But the thing is, yeah, you're always, there's always going to be some sort of translation difficulty. And furthermore, there's always textual, text critical difficulties as well, where we're not like sure what the reading's supposed to be. Or like, the Greek or the Hebrew are different somewhere. And you have to do a lot of work to figure out which one is the original. You got to check patristic evidence. You got to check rabbinic evidence. You have to go through the whole thing, but Bible translators already do that. They come to their conclusions, and you could disagree with them. But it's going to be different for each verse. But
there was a question came up in chat. The comments on Tomer and his commentary. Anybody heard from Tomer?
Yeah, he didn't realize that we would finish Proverbs so quickly, so he wasn't ready with his commentary for Ecclesiastes, and
he didn't
said
expect us to do Ecclesiastes in one sitting, did he?
I guess I imagine not.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I have to address this idiot here. There have been so much work and so many papers done on which, like the Septuagint, the Greek, is an important part to understanding biblical history. It very often contains the more preferred reading. But to suggest that the Greek is the original is just fucking stupid. The poetry is not Greek. The names mean something in Hebrew but not Greek. And furthermore, the writing is much closer to the motifs of Mesopotamia and like Assyria than it is to Greece as well. So while there is a certain point where Hellenistic Greek certainly had its influence, you can't just go with that being the original. No one is saying that you shouldn't consider the Greek. It should be considered. But the thing is, it's the original is still was very much in Hebrew, and there's no serious debate on that.
Yeah. You can use the Septuagint
like
sometimes. Sorry?
It's like eggs in baking a cake. It's absolutely an important functional ingredient, but it's not the whole recipe.
Yeah, like you can definitely use the Septuagint to like help you figure out like how the Hebrew had changed over time, because the Masoretic is like a snapshot from much later, and so we can use the Septuagint to be like, okay, the Hebrew in this verse is corrupted from an earlier Hebrew, and if we look at the Greek translation, we can see that they were trying to translate a Hebrew word which is similar to the Masoretic, and we can see how it changed or whatever like that. But there's no way that the Greek is the original, especially the Septuagint. One of the biggest pieces of evidence against that is that the Septuagint has places where it didn't even translate the Hebrew, it transliterated it. Right. It literally took a Hebrew word or a few Hebrew words and just wrote it out in Greek, and it makes no sense in Greek. It's just the sounds.
It doesn't mean anything.
It's like, for example, like this is not an example of them badly transliterating. This is an example of them trying to quote someone speaking in another language. Is it in the not Septuagint? Sorry, this is not Septuagint, but like an example would be like in the New Testament, there is like a bit where it says like lama lama
Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani.
Yeah.
Sabatani, lama sabatani, and it's like this is transliterating into Greek from Aramaic.
Yeah.
And they're trying to quote someone. So like you can't say this guy was speaking Greek because the text is written in Greek letters. You have to know that this is a different language. So it's a very similar reason. Although in that case they didn't know how to translate it, so they just wrote it.
Yeah, there's listen, diverse interests. There's a paper from Emmanuel Tov in the what's the name of the book? Exploring the Origins of the Bible, I think was the name, where he very much covers the importance of comparing with the Septuagint. But like, there's no one disagrees with the importance of comparing it or the importance of it as a textual witness, but it's still not the original.
Also, the oldest Septuagint is not older than the oldest Old Testament.
Right. Yeah. The oldest one we
copies.
have is from the 4th century, oldest Septuagint. But the translation process began in
4th century CE.
No. The translation process did start in the 3rd, 4th century BCE. But
we don't have any copies. We don't have any copies until like much later. But we have Hebrew copies, not of the entire, Old Testament, but we do have Hebrew, fragments or whatever that are dated to way before any Greek ones. Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you, Lawrence, earlier, but when it comes to preferred Bibles, shouldn't you also have an honorary mention for the 1631 KJV?
I think you should have an honorary mention for kissing my ass.
You don't know which one I'm talking about?
I know which one you're talking.
Is that the one that says "Thou shalt murder"?
No, it says
Well,
thou shalt commit adultery.
Oh, okay.
It's for people who don't believe it. There is a Bible museum in Houston which has a copy of that Bible open on the page where it actually says that. Because I've been accused of lying that there's no such thing.
No, but if that's what God commands.
Yes.
I suppose technically, I mean, I made sure to get laid before my divorce went through, but does that count? Paperwork is a bitch.
So the next one, what was it? The Song of Songs.
Yes. The sex one.
I'll get my crop.
The porn part of the Bible.
Yeah.
Also something that will get you blocked by Christians really, really fast if you quote from that.
Always good fun.
I'll see if I can come up with a leather bear outfit to wear for that one.
Oh, God.
And then we change the intro music to YMCA Aron.
No. All right then. So next week, are we doing next week?
Well, right, Isaac, you were going to be out, right?
Next weekend is not. I'll be away.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll skip a week.
Well, we can meet in 2 weeks and take it from there.
Yeah, and I'll tell Tomer that we're starting Song of Songs in 2 weeks, and if he wants to, like, get some commentaries ready, he can, but he doesn't have to. We don't want him to. He's very busy with school right now and finding not school, but like finding a job and stuff like that. So yeah.
Very good.
I get
we want him here, but we don't.
All right.
We don't want to say that you have to have commentary. Yeah.
Be sure to blaspheme next weekend on our behalf. Do not let
no one has anything to say anymore before we end the show.
Make sure you join the Behold Network Discord.
Behold.
All right,
the only Discord, the only real Discord.
The one true Discord. All other Discords are an affront to the sanctity of the Behold Network.
and hopefully I can get. I wanted to do a short video on the Orphic cult, so hopefully I get
Sounds
that
fun.
done. But it's fun because they wrote their stuff on gold leaf. Literally the only reason I wanted to cover it because it was interesting for that reason. I mean, there are a lot of cool Greek mystery cults, but yeah, that one is especially fun.
All right.
All right.
Mhm.
See you in 2 weeks.
Hasta la bye bye.